Happy Monday night, everybody. We are coming to you with baseball scores, talking anything and everything sports here for the next little bit. The New York Mets just managed to find a way to lose another game with a chance and the opportunity to fall out of first place in the National League East. But nonetheless, we're excited to be here with you. We're excited to be talking baseball with you. Jonathan, yes, the Mets have to be doing better. We can talk Mets all you guys want tonight, as much as you want. I know right now it's not a fun topic for me to talk about for sure. The Phillies right now, if there's any saving grace to the game right now, is the Phillies are currently losing 2-0 to the Rockies. However, it's the Rockies, and it's only the fourth inning. So yeah, this Mets team has some things to get figured out. It's amazing to me, right? Like a year ago, if you had told Mets fans we would be tied for the best record in the National League on May 19th, May 18th, as of yesterday, if you had told Mets fans that, they would be ecstatic. And now that they're living in it, everybody's frustrated. So thus is the world of New York sports. How's it going, Savage Batman? So we are going to be just talking anything, all things sports. We'll have the scoreboard on the screen in front of you. We did this the other night. We did this on Saturday night. It worked pretty well. And just with my schedule over the next coming weeks with baseball pretty much every night for the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe longer, this is going to probably work better for some of the evenings. So we're going to just test it again and see if YouTube is going to seed us with a bunch of new people too. Sometimes when we do these vertical streams. But we're just going to be here. We're going to be talking baseball. We'll do a full scoreboard update. Let's go, Mets Lane. It's a little rough season right now. Obviously, all hope is not lost or anything like that. But it is a tough little stretch that the Mets are in, facing some tough teams as well. All right, first and foremost, let's do this. Let's just go through the scoreboard really quick, just so you can all see. Oh, Savage. Oh, Savage. Enjoy. Enjoy. All right. So the scoreboard update for the day, and these are all on the screen with you. We'll keep the games closest to the end near the top once we go through this. The Cardinals are leading the Detroit Tigers 5-0. By the way, if you haven't yet seen it, the new power rankings are out for Major League Baseball. They're on the screen right now for you. So I believe it's also the second link, new power rankings. You can check it out. I actually had the Tigers as the number one team again this week, but the Cardinals want to try to chip away at that. The Mariners had a nice run this weekend, sweeping the Padres. They're leading the White Sox 5-0. Orioles are looking desperately to try to break out of everything that's going on the season, try to turn the season around. They're kind of at that precipice where it's like they got to start winning soon. It's 4-4 Orioles over the Brewers. They were up 1-0 early, and then they gave up 4 runs. They've tied it back up. Guardians and Twins. Twins are up 2-1. That's in a weather delay of some sort. I'm assuming it's a rain delay. The Rockies up 2-0 here on the Phillies. They just got out of that inning. Got a couple of games that are about to start or will start here in a little bit. That's the Royals at the Giants, the Angels, the red hot Angels who just swept the Dodgers playing the Athletics, Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers. Those are the late games here. And then games that are in the books, the Reds beat the Pirates 7-1. The Marlins came back with 2 in the bottom of the ninth to beat the Cubs. The Cubs were complaining about how hard their schedule was at the start of the season, and now they're in this little softer stretch and they're struggling. So it's like, be careful what you wish for. So, of course, the Mets lost 3-1 earlier tonight. So congrats, Savage Batman, to your Red Sox. You have rights. And the Astros beat the Rays 4-3. So we're going to have those scores. I think you're going to be able to see all the main ones that are in progress. And by the time all the late games start, everything should be good. You'll have those on the screen in front of you. So we're taking any and all sports questions and answers. We'll be looking up things for you as we go. I'm going to be watching games too. Right now, I've got the Phillies and Rockies on my screen. But I'm going to actually flip over because at this point, I'm not expecting the Rockies to score more. I just don't want the Phillies to score anymore. Let's see, Baltimore, Milwaukee. They are on commercial break. I might have to go more than one game going on here. Let's see. What other games? Well, we'll add that one in the queue, and I guess we'll keep an eye on Cleveland and Minnesota. We'll definitely be tuning into the Dodger game once that turns on. And I don't know. Well, I guess St. Louis and Detroit is moderately interesting. See if Detroit will be able to make some sort of comeback in that game. Let's see. Can I have those? All right, there we go. All right, so we got some questions. We'll take any and all your sports questions, any of your analysis. Um, oh, it looks like the tarp is going on the field in Detroit as well. So, yeah, it looks like we got rain going across the country. So that Tigers Cardinals game is going into a rain delay as well. So we'll put that on hold. All right. So first question I see. If you guys have a question, just ask away, and we'll just be updating you on anything, everything. We got the whole scoreboard on there. Be hanging out with you, and we're just gonna see. I don't know if like this worked well the other night, but I don't know how much of that was just it was a Saturday night versus it was genuinely something that a lot of people would find interesting. So and new people. So we're always just trying to figure out how to connect with more people. By the way, the Rockies have a runner on second. Redman, I have a theory. I have a theory on why the Mets are playing poorly right now. I have a theory. So I'll cover that in a second. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, well that's kind of part of my theory. But hold on, let's do this first. So the question was, who is pitching for the Mets tomorrow? It is at present set to be Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes is pitching for the Mets tomorrow. Tyler McGill on Wednesday. Okay, so to answer Dwayne your question, so Clay Holmes Tuesday and Tyler McGill Wednesday. All right, so that answers that one. Why are the Mets trash? I wouldn't say they're trash. They are. They came in today with the second best record in Major League Baseball. So they are not playing well right now, but that doesn't mean the whole team is trash. The whole season is trash. All right. I wanted to just check this up actually before I get to a little deeper answer to that question. Mets record May 19, 2024. I don't know if it's easy to find this. Last May, the Mets record in the month of May. Anybody know? Does anyone know what was the Mets record during the month of May 2024? Jonathan, correct. You are correct. It was 9-19 in the month of May. Okay. And in the month of May, I'm just looking through this. They lost to they split two games. Now this might have been an ongoing series. Yep, 9-19. Okay. They split a 2-game series with the Cubs. They got swept by the Rays. Then they swept a 2-game series. They actually had a series sweep in the month of May, even while going 9-19. So they swept a 2-game series over the Cardinals. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Braves. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Phillies. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. They got swept by the Guardians. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants. They lost 2 in a row to the Dodgers. Okay. All right, but let's not talk like that, Red Man. Please don't talk like that. I understand the emphasis, but it's a little too dramatic for the champ. All right. So that was the month of May. All right. Now I don't have their total 2024 record by month. Okay. In April they were 15-11. In March they were 0-3. So by the end of May, the Mets record by the end of May. Okay, so that was in the month of May, they were 9-19. What was the Mets record by the end of May? So total record, including all of March and April. And I'll give you a hint here. I'll tell you how many games. 57 games. What was the Mets record by the end of May through 57 games? And then I'm gonna do the back calculations and find out what the Mets record actually was on the 19th in just a second. So anybody want to guess what was the Mets record through 57 games last year? Very close. Yep, you're right. You're right on it. All right, so the Mets record at the end of May last year, Jonathan's right on it. There you go, 24-33, and Jonathan did the math for us here, 21-25 on May 19th. All right, and obviously the total number of games is going to be different a little bit from year to year. Okay, but we'll dive into the Paul Blackburn in a second. So, as of this exact moment, the Phillies are technically in first place in the National League East. By the way, just so you guys know, it's they have one less win, but one less loss, so their overall winning percentage is slightly higher. How's it going, D-Rails? So the one thing I want to communicate in the don't panic is the Mets record, and I'm trusting Jonathan on this. They're 21-25 on May 19th last year. This year they're 29-19. Now, do I think everything is great for the Mets? Do I think all is good? Everybody's happy? No. Obviously, there are problems on this team. But remember, at this time last year, so let me give you a team that's roughly 21-25 right now, just to give you guys some perspective. These are the teams right now that are right there. The last place AL West Los Angeles Angels, they are 20-25. Jonathan, what's our record if we just go 500 the rest of the season? Whatever that is. So, I mean, we're 10 games over 500, so that would be 86. Is that right? 86-76, I think, if we go 500 the rest of the way. All right, teams. Los Angeles Angels are currently 20-25. Last place, AL West. Just to give you guys, I'm just trying to bring a little perspective in because I do believe there are issues. Okay, I'm not denying that the Mets have issues. The Mets do have issues, but I just want to give you some perspective. In fact, 20 wins would be last place or next to last place. How can the Mets be back in first place? If the Phillies lose tonight, the Mets are back in first place. If the Phillies lose to the Rockies, the Mets are back in first place. They're only there simply because of percentage points. Okay. I'm just trying to find other comparable teams. The Tampa Bay Rays. Okay, right now the Tampa Bay Rays are nobody's talking about. They're 21-26. Just trying to find teams that have similar records to the Mets on this date last year. Washington Nationals right now. 21-27. Okay. Milwaukee Brewers is probably the best comp of all these teams. They're the one team that I feel like has a shot to potentially turn it around. They're 22-25. Okay. These are the teams that the Mets were like last year on this exact date, 1 year ago. Of course, this channel wasn't active, but you were lamenting whatever it was that you had to lament on this day. The Mets aren't making excuses. So that's the thing. I wanted to see, what did the Mets actually do? See if I can. Just trying to find. Let me see if this is it. All right. And so, just for the record, the Mets are 500 in May this month. They're 8-8, right? So last May they were, what was the record? 9-19, right? We're 8-8. Well, he's all right. So the Mets have some issues. I'm gonna outline what I see as some of the basic issues. One, I do agree with this a little bit. Inconsistent lineup construction. Players have little consistency day to day. All right. This is my diagnosis. You can disagree. I think baseball teams play best when you have a regular starting lineup that plays together five out of every 7 days. 4 to 5 days a week. You're putting the same exact lineup out there in the same exact order, the same exact places on the field. Okay. Adjustments. 1, Vientos. 2, DH. And with his fielding, likely to continue. Okay. I believe I heard today Vientos is the worst rated defensive third baseman in the major leagues right now. I'm trying to see if I can actually find that stat, but that was on Wardy's channel. Let's see if I can. Depends on what metric you use. He's near the very bottom. He has a 935 fielding percentage. So if you guys want to look this up, this is not. Now, the exact stat as to which ones would have Vientos, it would probably depend on which stat you sort by. But fielding percentage-wise, he's right down the bottom by Max Muncy, Oswaldo Cabrera, Jose Ramirez. Now, what you notice is all those teams are not bad teams, right? Mets, Dodgers, Yankees, Guardians, they're all pretty good teams. So it's not an absolute deal breaker. But all right, but then if you sort by defensive WAR, so defensive wins above replacement, and we're going to sort it by guys who are in here regularly. Again, he's among the bottom. With Gio Urshela of the Athletics and Junior Caminero of the Rays, Jonathan India of the Royals, he's got a negative 0.6. So Redman, provide some stats. Don't just say things. Provide some stats. Negative 0.6 defensive WAR. Let Mark Vientos focus on hitting. He is a hitter. He needs to focus on hitting, focus on getting better, and getting back to his hitting self of last year. He fits in perfect as an everyday designated hitter. He has the power. He has the ability to drive runners in. He has the ability to get hits and get on base. And he's literally cost us more than half of a win. So They're not playing like the worst team in baseball. If you think the Mets are playing like the worst team in baseball, you're not watching a lot of the worst teams in baseball. They're just simply not. They're not scoring runs. That's literally the only thing that's wrong with this team right now, guys. That's the major thing. Okay. And we're going to talk about, like, we're trying to figure out the reasons why they're not scoring runs. I believe that the inconsistent lineup is it, but it's not like you can take yesterday's game out of the equation. If you look at this, the Mets are not getting blown out. In fact, yesterday was the first game all season the Mets lost by 6 runs. It's their worst loss of the season. It all came in one inning with a little bit of a blowout, bullpen blow up. But it's not like the Mets are getting blown out of these games. The problem is the Mets are also not blowing teams out and not scoring a ton of runs. And this is causing our pitching, both starting pitching, and our relief pitchers to crack. So this is why you have to look at stats, and you have to look at things as non-emotionally as possible. One of the benefits that I get of putting power rankings together every week is I dig into stats, and so I start to see trends, and I'm finding like, yeah, I'm way ahead of like trends a lot of times when it comes to stats because I've dug in and I've seen things. And it's like, oh, well, when you look at this, all of a sudden, this is not a surprising result. So as you hold on here, let me bring this. I'll make sure this is good. Quick little updates here. The Phillies did score one. It is 2-1 Rockies, top of the 5th. There. We've got 2 games in a weather delay right now, just so you guys know. 2 super late games, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Angels, Athletics, about to get underway. Royals, Giants just got started. So, yeah, I know, Rose, you're big on the mentality thing. I don't think it's really the mentality thing. I think the Mets need a moment. So this is my second thing. Okay, the Mets need a moment. Now, it can't be the same moment, but they need a grimace moment. And specifically, from what I can see, the team is playing tight, pressured. Okay. The team is playing tight, pressured, and stressed. Simply put, the Mets are not having fun right now. And this is probably a necessary transition. It was going to happen at some point in time or another where this team has to shed its identity completely from last year. These are not the Jose Iglesias Mets. This team needs to find its true personality, and it's hard, right? It's hard to find your personality as a team when you've had such a rotation of injuries. We're here. Remember the talk by the end of May, Montas and Manaea will be back. Well, we're to the end of May, and they're still not back, and we can look those injuries up. But the point is, it's hard to really find your footing as a team when you don't even have your whole team together yet. Okay, so you have to remember that we are doing this. We have one of the best records in baseball, missing 3 of our starters. Okay. And let's just say, for argument's sake, even though most people are not projecting Kodai Senga as a 1 coming into the season. But let's just say, for argument's sake, we'll call it our 3, 4, and 5 starters. Okay. Let's say we were thinking, and again, I'm just going back to remember, but let's say original rotation would have been something like Senga, and then Holmes, and then Montas. Actually, probably Manaea would be ahead of him. Sorry if I butchered Manaea's name. Montas and Blackburn. Okay. Now, other than the Dodgers, who the Dodgers pitching rotation has been utterly decimated too. Okay. But the reason the Dodgers have survived is the same reason the Mets have survived, which is they have built out depth. So how many teams could lose their 3, 4, and 5 starting pitchers and then have been able to replace that with Griffin Canning? And before you guys are like, well, yeah, Griffin Canning's good. Go look at Griffin Canning's old stats. Okay, Peterson, and Peterson might have been in the original rotation and not Blackburn, but even so, Canning, Peterson, McGill, right? So this is our 6, 7, and 8 starters. How many teams in Major League Baseball have 6, 7, and 8 starters who have performed as well as Canning, Peterson, and McGill have this season? And again, I'm not saying every single performance. We all understand that McGill has had 3 rough outings in a row. But look at the overall. If you just look at for the whole season, which is when they've been in to replace, right? Have we gotten? Be honest. Haven't we gotten way more out of Canning, Peterson, and McGill as those trio of starters? Way more out of them than we expected going into this season here of all these injuries that the Mets have been facing. Absolutely. And how many teams even have like McGill would probably be a number 2 or 3 starter on a lot of these teams. He'd be a number 2 starter on the Rockies. He'd be a number 3 starter on the White Sox, the Angels. Like, you guys have to remember, this is the luxury that the Mets have. So the pitching has more than held their own, which is why ultimately I don't blame the pitching staff here. So you have a number 8 starter who can't pitch great 2 months to 3 months into the season. Good. Barely any team in Major League Baseball has that. But we've got reinforcements coming both from the injured list and developing in the minors. All right. But I'm just going to say this. From what I can tell right now, the Mets are playing stressed and pressured. If you want to call that back over here to what D-Rails is talking about in terms of mentality, that's fine. If you want to call it that, I think it's more to it than that. I want to give an example. So yesterday, we did our a final get together for my son's regular season baseball team. And we just did parents versus kids, like playing baseball. The kids were out, played. There's probably about 11 or 12 parents playing, and I think 11 kids there. So we're old. But one of the things I noticed was zero coaching from us. The kids played one of their best defensive games they played all season. Why? Because it was all fun. It was no pressure. And it was just like, it was no big deal. If you make a mistake, it was no big deal. And right now, the Mets are trying to be the butterfly breaking out of the cocoon. If I can give you any sort of perspective, this is what the Mets are trying to do. They have kind of hit that level, right? They've hit that level of we're kind of trying to show that we're better than the Yankees, trying to show that we're better than the Dodgers, trying to show that we're the best team in the National League East. And this is kind of new for this team to assert, to be trying to assert top level dominance. And when, we've had multiple players who have had different good streaks. Lindor had a super hot streak for a couple of weeks. Of course, Pete Alonso was hot for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. You've had some key hits that have come in at other times. But ultimately, this team has yet to adopt the absolute, we're going to come out there and we're not going to win every game, but if we lose a game, then we're going to come out the next day and we're going to stomp on you even harder than we would have if you just let us win yesterday. Yeah, beautiful throw home. Yeah. Well, Pete had another bad play again tonight too. But again, that all lines up with this team is they're not enjoying being near the top of baseball at the moment. They're feeling the pressure of getting there. And because to most of them, this is kind of a new thing, right? Other than Juan Soto, these guys, for the most part, there's very little World Series experience for anyone on this team. And everyone who's on this team last year all failed at beating the Dodgers and kind of have some of those insecurities that maybe go along with it. So I think that that has a lot to do with it. And I can tell the Mets are not having fun in a very simple way. Okay. How do I know the Mets are not having fun? I can give you a very, very simple answer to that. How do I know the Mets are not having fun? I'm not having fun watching them play. There is, and I mean, do you guys disagree? They're literally, it's not fun to watch the games. There can be exciting games. There's drama, but it's not fun. It's not like, hey, let's sit down, let's see who's going to be the hero today. It doesn't have that feeling. It's like it really has the feeling of let's see if there's a chance we can hang close and win this in the end. So there's tension. They're close games. They're exciting games. When we win, it's not really we're relieved. It's not like, oh, we won. Let's have a lot of fun. Let's party. We're this such a great team. No, it's like, whew, we got our job done. We won today. And so that's what I really think. If I were just kind of diagnosing the overall, and I think all these things tie together. Why do I think they're not having fun? I think everybody's so frustrated. My mind says every time someone gets on a hot streak, Mendoza's playing the matchup thing too much. So you had the rookie of the month in the National League, Luis Angel Acuna, on pace to be the rookie of the year in the National League. And he doesn't even play in half the games. You're only having fun winning 1-0 or 20-0. Yeah, but there's something about just seeing guys enjoy play the game. Brett Beatty goes on a hot streak, has like 5 home runs in like 7 games, and then Mendoza sits him for 3 days straight. Okay, it's way too inconsistent. Some of what I saw tonight is a little bit better. Starling Marte is the perfect guy to have on the bench as a late inning righty replacement for a lefty in the lineup. Exactly what they used him for tonight, where he came in the game to hit for Brett Beatty and a plus matchup for him. I don't want Starling Marte starting and playing in every game. I really don't want him starting most any game. I want the same lineup every day. And I think all the Mets players will be better if everybody knows. And honestly, I'm pretty much done with this Tyrone Taylor experiment. I'm ready to just send Zokar down, let Tyrone Taylor. He has his good days. It's fine. He's a good defensive replacement, but I want McNeil's bat in there, but I want Acuna's bat in there every day. I want Beatty playing third base every day. I want Vientos a designated hitter every day. The Mets don't have outs to spare, and they can't be putting guys in the lineup who are consistently, going 0 for 3, 1 for 4. They need to find guys who can have and are regularly having multi-hit days. And if you just look at the overall picture, yes, everyone can have a good day. But I think this is what's going on. You have a team that's playing super, super tight. You've got a team that doesn't have a well-defined personality. You've got a team where nobody really knows who's going to be in what spot in the batting order outside of the top 3 on a regular basis. I don't want the Mets to do like some drastic mess the lineup up. I just want the Mets to pick a lineup and stick with it. And set your ideal, whatever your ideal righty lefty. And I understand that some of that stuff plays into it. That's fine. But play your best 9 guys. Put your best 9 that you possibly can out there. And play them. And just play them every day. Let them get into a groove of playing every day. You have Torrens as your backup catcher. Right now you have Azokar as your backup center fielder, but you could easily shift Tyrone Taylor to that. Let him be the defensive replacement for McNeil. Or keep them both on the roster until Ronnie Mauricio is ready to come up and train him in. But you just have to keep pushing, 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 and just let everybody come relax to the ballpark so everybody knows what their job is. Marte knows my job is to come in and be the pinch hitter in the key situation. Tyrone Taylor knows his job is to come in and do that. Or if Mendoza really wants, okay, if you really just want Acuna to be the defense replacement, that's fine. Then have him be that. But just, I don't think that's the best way to do. Like he has the ability to do this, and so, yep, you do. You do have bragging rights for the day, Batman. I would not be surprised at all if you guys sweep the series the way the team is playing right now. And this is not a team that is going to play well in cold weather either. I don't think it's supposed to be cold the next couple of days, so I would just not be surprised at all if the Red Sox. I mean, if the Red Sox win tomorrow, they're probably going to sweep because I don't see any way this Mets lineup can crack Garrett Crochet right now. So, but there's a lot of little pieces, but it's also not panic mode. It's just frustrating. I think a lot of Mets fans are frustrated for a lot of different reasons. Every Mets streamer that I know and media outlet was building up this whole thing that going back to New York and going back to the Yankee Stadium was going to be the breakout. It was going to be the breakout for Juan Soto. They built up the narrative. And so you have to remember, guys, and the more I'm doing this, the more I'm creating content for the Mets, the more I see it. It's so frustrating to me because as soon as the talking points go out from wherever, from WFAN or the big streamers, everybody follows suit. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Why did anyone think specifically that this was going to be the series that Soto breaks out? Nobody thought that necessarily. They just wanted to have a storyline. So that way they could either say, look, Soto broke out against the Yankee series. I told you it was going to happen. Or, oh, Soto couldn't even break out at the Yankee series. So now we got something to talk about. So much of this stuff is manufactured stuff that, honestly, only media and fans are talking about. And it's probably not even the stuff. Even a lot of stuff I'm bringing up, it's probably not stuff that they're talking about in the clubhouse. That's probably not what it is. But just from looking at it from a slightly outside perspective, it's how I would diagnose it. It's like, yeah, this looks to be what I'm seeing. This is how they're struggling and different things like that. So there's just so much manufacturing. This whole Luis Robert Jr. thing, too, somebody mentioned that before. It's a completely manufactured narrative. All people do is just put out stories. You have to realize occasionally they have sources for this stuff, but 95% of the time they're literally just throwing numbers out there, and they're literally just throwing players out there, and they're throwing storylines out there, and that's all people do for a lot of this stuff is they literally just throw stuff against the wall. When something sticks, they say, look at how good I was. Raul, let's go Mets, baby. This is what media is, and this is why you can't just listen to media. You have to, if you really want to like get into baseball, I'd encourage you to stop listening to all the mainstream stuff. And honestly, I'd encourage you to just not put too much stock in really any media outlet, including myself, but just look into things, look into the stats, make decisions. But the vast majority of stuff and the vast majority of the random commenters, the X/Twitter commenters, the Facebook commenters on these things, they're just people who are just drama filled. Like, you don't need that. You don't need it. Just dive in, figure out things. And I would say instead of Luis Robert Jr., Robert Jr., I don't know which way to say it. I've heard it said both ways. But I would say do your own diving and find other guys that you like. Like when the Twins were struggling, I was like, well, I like Byron Buxton. But here's what you want. Luis Robert is not going to provide you any more base hits than what you're already getting out of either McNeil or Azokar, or anybody else in center field. Like, I want an upgrade in center field. I want someone who's going to get on base a ton more. So, for example, you look at this, well, we did this last week, but what you want to do is you want to look. And so I'll go into something like MLB stats, and I'm going to just look for who I want to look for. I'm not going to look for what the narrative's going to tell me. So I'm going to go into the stats and I'm going to say, okay, batting average over the past week. And then I'm going to look and see, is that a team that is possibly in a trade mode? And is it someone who could possibly be a fit? And when I do that, I look at batting average over the past week. Now there's someone who's doing well, but not on a great team. And they also happen to be an outfielder, so then I can sort by outfield. Okay. There's some guys that stick out. Now they're not all center fielders, so I don't know without doing a ton. But check out Ramon Laureano of the Orioles. He's hitting 500 over the last week, guys. He's hitting 500 over the last week. Including a 3-hit game tonight. So a player like that, this is all these guys do. Some of them, there's a handful that have inside sources, but most of them don't. This is what they're doing. They're looking and they're saying, okay, who are some guys that possibly fit this thing? So Ramon Laureano would be one. This is one that we talked about last week. Someone on a team that's going to be selling at the trade deadline that you could potentially get a deal done with. Kyle Stowers. Okay. He's hitting over 400 in the last week. Also an outfield. Now, again, do these guys specifically have the ability to play center field? I don't know. But then there's other guys. There's a natural center fielder. And if there's a team, if they keep struggling, a name to keep an eye on, Jake Myers of the Astros. Okay. He's hitting over 300 over his last 30 games. He's hitting over 300 for the season. He's a younger guy. And I'm just looking over some of his stats. It's kind of a buy high. It's not my ideal because I'd rather get someone who's, not that far above because it looks like he'd be due for some regression, but it's a name I'd be interested in. And so that's what you want to do is you just want to kind of dive in. Look, of course, when you look at the best batting averages of center fielders over recent days, it's Pete Crow-Armstrong, who used to be in our system, who we traded away. But I can tell you what I'm not seeing when I look at the top batting average over the last 7 days in all of baseball. Do you know what team's not represented at all in the top 25? The New York Mets. We're not getting hits. Over the last 7 days, Juan Soto's hitting 188. Brandon Nimmo's hitting 182. Among the very bottom of the regular everyday outfielders in baseball. Okay, now let's spread it out though. Let's go to 15 days. Let's see some other guys who are near the top who maybe would have an opportunity to be available at the trade deadline. So again, Jake Myers shows up there. Now, if you want to dream and think blockbuster, you want to think like guys that I'd be willing to trade top prospects for. Now, right now, they're not in this position because they're still at the top of the division. But I'd be willing to part with some major top prospects if the Mariners have their usual like June swoon and fall out of it. Maybe they'd be willing to take a really nice package. And then could you imagine Julio in center field? Doesn't that make the lineup a whole lot better? So, and then, but if you want to try to actually identify the other statistical problems, so let's just do another thing. We're just going to look at This is all stuff you can do. This is all really simple, basic sorting. Let's do over the last 30 days. We'll just do total hits here. It's hard because it'll sort for only like qualified players or whatever. But over the last 30 days, Lindor is hitting 300. Pete Alonso's hitting 262. Mark Vientos is hitting 289. Juan Soto's hitting 250. Tyrone Taylor's actually doing a little bit better than I thought. He's hitting 288 over the last 30 days. So again, this is how you get better at evaluating players, because you actually have to look in and say, oh, wow, they're not doing quite as bad as I thought. Luis Angel Acuna, 254. Francisco Alvarez, 267. So when you look at it, it's like, wow, okay, it's not that bad. It's just that everybody's kind of in a slump over the last week or week and a half. And it also means one of the things we've talked about too is that you've got Mets players who are hitting, but they're not hitting at the right time. Right. So they're not hitting consistently when the pressure is on, which again goes back to a team that's tight, team that's swinging too much, team that doesn't have that kind of looseness to it. Feel like, how's it going? By the way, the Rockies are trying to score here on the bottom of the sixth. They're up 2-1 on the Phillies. They got to run around second with 2 outs. Gonna watch this at bat here right now. This is Brenton Doyle is up for the Rockies here. To see if he can get a 2-out hit to expand the Rockies' lead. Here's a 2-0 pitch here to Doyle. That was a good swing. He missed it. 2 balls, 1 strike. By the way, the Diamondbacks are up 2-0 on the Dodgers in the first inning already. Three and 1 to Doyle here. So, and just remember, however bad you think the Mets are struggling, the Dodgers are currently struggling worse. The Dodgers just got swept by a last place team, guys. And I'm sure on Dodger message boards, they're tearing them apart and stuff like that. Oh, it's driven. It's deep. It's going to fall in. It's going to bounce for a ground rule double. So the Rockies are going to get the run home. 3-1 Rockies. Unfortunate that went over the fence. That could have been a triple maybe otherwise. So just 3-1 Rockies. Are you guys above 500 yet? I know, like, coming into today, the only team over 500 in the AL East was the Yankees. He almost got it out of there. It was close. He missed a home run by about 5 feet. But we'll see if Ryan McMahon is now up for the Rockies. Still a runner on second, just a different runner now. Baseball is a really hard game to be consistent, and if baseball players were like baseball fans, seasons would fall apart so much. One of the best gifts about baseball is, other than a few certain points in time, it is so time insensitive. It just doesn't matter. You have so much time to work things out as long as everybody's doing their jobs. The goal is to make the playoffs and to be a cohesive unit headed into the playoffs. And what did the Mets do last year? They made the playoffs, and they were a cohesive unit by the time they got to the playoffs. And we've seen it time and time again. Teams that are cohesive units in March and April and May fall apart come August and September. Yeah, you see some teams will run the table from start to finish, but there's lots of times that's just not how your season is going to go. It always amazes me like how baseball fans get so like frustrated when things happen because it's like it's 162 games and you're guaranteed losing 50 of them, just guaranteed before the season even starts. Now, if you want to point out a couple of games, you're like, oh man, we really shouldn't have lost that particular game. Yeah, I understand that. Look, you're just going to lose games. You're going to lose 50 games. You're going to lose. In general, you're going to lose one out of every 3 games, even most of the best teams. All right, Rockies strike out there to end the inning, but they do get one more run in. All the other games that I'm keeping an eye on, but wow, the Cardinals have opened up on the Tigers. It is 10-0 Cardinals. 10-0 Cardinals. Looks like the Brewers held on to beat the Orioles, so that game is in the books. Man, every game is like in commercial break right now. All right, here we got a game going on. Athletics are up 2-1 on the Angels. Angels just completed a sweep of the Dodgers. Going to see if they can build on that. I had the Angels as a off the radar pick to make the playoffs this year, but they got off to a good start and they kind of pulled back. But we'll see if they can turn around their season here. Yep, Cubs lost to the Marlins. The Dodgers just got swept by the Angels. So this is the thing. I think for the Mets, we've just hit the point of the season where the injuries have caught up to us, and the Mets have run out of adrenaline, right? So you guys can remember back to your college days or whatever days where you could just run. You could run on adrenaline, maybe for a week, maybe a month. You could run on adrenaline, but at a certain point, it just kind of crashes. And this is the point of the season that we're at. We're not new. The season is not brand new. Everybody's been playing. Everybody's been grinding. The Mets have had a lot of traveling. They've had West Coast trips. They've only had a handful of long series at home. They're on the road again. They have all these expectations. I don't know if they're going to call that an error, but Max Muncy just made a horrible play at third base. We're just talking about how he's one of the worst defending third basemen, just like Vientos. Yeah, that's an error on Max Muncy. So yeah, the things when you watch other teams play baseball, you realize that other teams have all their problems too, and the problems are going to change from week to week. And then there's a wild pitch by the Dodgers. Now runners on second. So, for the start of the season, I would give this team. I'm giving this team how about a grade? Can I grade them, Jonathan? That'd be the easiest thing for me to do. As a whole, I'm giving this team a B+ for the start of the season. Okay, here's the team report card. Overall, B+. Starting pitching, A minus. Bullpen, I know they struggled a little bit. I'm going to say an A for the bullpen. I would say managing, C plus. I think that's been our biggest thing. I would say roster construction, and this is like the Stearns report card. I'd say B minus. I think there were notable holes in this roster that were not fixed, that should have been fixed. Now they still might be fixed, but do that. I would say top 3 hitting. I'm gonna go B plus there because Soto has been less than expect. I'll go A minus. 4 through 9 hitting. I'm creating my own arbitrary categories here. 4 through 9 hitting. I'm gonna give a C. I'm gonna say replacement players for injury. A plus. There's my full report card. Here's my team report card. Overall B plus. Starting pitching A minus. Bullpen A. Managing C plus. Roster construction by Stearns B minus. Top 3 hitting A minus. 4 through 9 hitting C. Replacement players for injury A plus. So I don't know. Some people say I'm being a little too hard on Mendoza. But I just think overall, sacrifice fly. The Diamondbacks are going to score another run. 3-0 Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. Oh, I thought there was a fight in the Phillies Rockies game, but it was just a replay. I looked down and I saw a bunch of stuff going on. That's sad. I could go for a good baseball kerfluffle tonight. Well, this Cardinals team, they're up 11-0 now, by the way. So, who pitched for the Tigers tonight? Oof. Sounds good, Jonathan. Thanks for hanging out. We're probably going to be doing more of this type of thing over the next couple weeks with All-Star season. So we'll squeeze in some live watch parties when we have the chance, but it's just going to be lots of later nights here. So this will be the easy way. We can still talk sports, and sometimes it's more fun to do it casually versus the intense watch along. So all right, let's see. Just checking in on all the games. Of course, you got all the scores on the screen in front of you of the games that are in action. We'll just read through those really quick. Cardinals are now up 11-0 on the Tigers. Rockies are up 3-1 on the Phillies, but Phillies are threatening. They got 2 runners on with no outs in the top of the 7th. The Twins Guardians game is suspended. So to be continued. Twins game is to be continued tomorrow night. Royals and Giants are 0-0. That's top of the 4th. Athletics up 2-1 over the Angels. Diamondbacks up 3-0 on the Dodgers. So those are the 6 games. 6 games in progress right now as we speak. You guys can feel free to ask away on any sports questions that you have. We'll hang out for a little bit longer people want to talk. If not, that's fine. I got a couple other things I can do, and I also can go to bed. So I hope everybody is doing well tonight. It's watching right now. The game I got on here is Phillies and Rockies. Rockies are up 3-1, but Phillies have 2 runners on with nobody out. Harper's going to fly out to center. That's going to score a run. It's going to be 3-2. So that insurance run the Rockies got a little while ago coming into play. All right. So we got that. All right. Diamondbacks are pitching against the Dodgers here. They have a nice 3-0 lead already, scored in both the first and the second inning. And the Phillies just grounded into a double play to get out of that inning. So the Rockies are going to keep the 3-2 lead. That's a good job. Phillies had first and third with nobody out, and the Dodgers gave up just the 1 run. Keep a 3-2 lead. So this Cardinals-Tigers game, Tigers did just score a run, but that's basically, that's 11-1 in the top of the 8th. If that gets really close, we can hop back to it. But let's see who's pitching for the Royals. Who's pitching for the Royals tonight? Chris Bubik. Chris Bubik is pitching for the Royals and pitching well. So if you guys got any questions, we got the live scoreboard up. We can also answer anything, and I'll kind of update you on things that are happening as they happen as well. If you guys want any particular stats from any of the games, let me know. We've already gone over all the scores, but if you missed it, also you can let me know that. So thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you guys are all doing awesome tonight. We're just kind of hanging out, talking baseball, as well as any other sports questions you guys have. Come on in. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. We've got a couple new pieces of content out on the channel here over the last week. Bubich. All right. Let's see. Pull this up here really quick. So the first thing we've got going on for our new content on the channel, we put out the brand new power rankings. They went out early to all of our patrons, the financial supporters of this channel who make this channel possible. So if you want to help with supporting this channel, you can do the same thing. You can join the Patreon. I'll show you what it would look like really quick if you just take a pause from the scoreboard for just a second, just to show you guys what the early access looks like. If you guys are interested, here it is. So everybody, all the patrons got early access to the power rankings. Basically, it's early access to videos. They come out generally a day early. So it's a cool way. It's a way that you can support the channel. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But for those of you that do, Darren and Bifer, appreciate you so much for being supporters of this channel and helping financially support us. So that way we can bring content like this to you guys. Readjust that. There we go. All right, still nothing in the Giants-Royals game. They're heading to the fifth inning. Dodgers are down 3-0 here, bottom of the second. Muncy hits it down to first base, and Dodgers are going to be retired. The second inning going to go to the top of the third. Diamondbacks are up 3-0. They've scored in every inning so far. We'll see if they can keep it up. Meanwhile, Athletics still lead the surging Angels 2-1. Angels coming off of a sweep this weekend. I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I'm probably not. I know the song, I know the tune, but I probably don't have it right. I left my body somewhere in the sands of time. Kryptonite. Yeah. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? How's it going, Midnight? I mean, I know, I just don't know how, it's like, it's one of those songs that I probably could never actually sing. Yeah. I know how to get there. I just didn't know how I would start there. Hope you're doing well. We are on Colorado Rockies watch tonight, Midnight, and they're winning. The Rockies are winning tonight, and the Mets fans who are all sad because the Mets lost want them to beat the Phillies tonight. So Rockies are up 3-2 with a runner on second here. I think that's four in a row, 4 songs in a row. Anyway, the newest power rankings are out. Yes, the Mets drop. How far did they drop? Well, maybe not as far as they're going to drop this week if they keep on losing some games, but they did drop a little bit. Then I also put together a vlog, took a couple of my kids to a spring training game. Finally had time to get all that footage together, so that's up. You just kind of want to have the feeling of going to a spring training game down in Florida, even though it was from 3 months ago at this point. Got it done. So those are links that are available in there. Phillies are losing to the Rockies. I'm not saying that the Mets are doing great, but the Dodgers just got swept by the Los Angeles Angels. The Padres just got swept by the Mariners. The Mets took 1 out of 3 from the Yankees. It's like the Mets are struggling a little bit right now. It's okay. They have margin to struggle. I care more about figuring out why they're struggling and figuring out how to help fix it, even though no one will listen to me. But that's what I care about. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't see Dodgers fans lose their swagger just because they got swept by the Angels. Like, what Dodger fan is like, oh no, we're worried. We're a horrible team now. No, the poor Phillies, how embarrassing. Well, it's not over yet. It's just to be losing on the scoreboard, I guess. The Rockies moved the guy up to third on a sacrifice fly. So they got to run around third with 2 outs here. This is bottom 7. So just a handful of games going on. Well, I gotta. I see. You guys can't actually see that score because my little logo is blocking out there. Now you can see the Phillies and Rockies score. Just so you guys know, that Guardians Twins game is suspended. That's not going to start up again tonight. It's going to finish tomorrow. Just a heads up if you're wondering why or when is that game going to start again. So you got live in action games. Cardinals up 11-1 on the Tigers. Rockies up 3-2 on the Phillies. Giants and Royals are scoreless. There's a roller to Bohm at third base. He's going to be able to throw him out. That's going to retire the side. Rockies are going to be out in the 7th. Athletics over the Angels 2-1, and Diamondbacks over the Dodgers 3-0. Yeah. Root for them to keep losing, and maybe they'll give up. Maybe they'll quit. Uh, so we're just doing a casual hangout, talking baseball, ask me anything sports related. So we've got that. I actually just created a new tool that'll be for like some of the baseball card series stuff. Um, it's I'm actually going to debut the tool on the other channel, but it'll apply over here too. So basic lessons in bartering and trading. So I'm doing a deep dive video into bartering and really just answering all the financial questions I never learned as a kid. And I'm just putting together a series of videos that are going to help my kids and hopefully help some other people along the way. So all right. So that's commercial break. That game's commercial break. All right, we'll go over the Dodgers game. Diamondbacks have a runner on first here. Leadoff base runner. No outs, top of the third. Diamondbacks have already scored in every inning against the Dodgers. And that's the way to beat the Dodgers. You have to score in every inning. Who's pitching tonight for the Dodgers? Oh, Dodgers are doing a bullpen game. Yeah, the thing is, as long as you're one, so it just depends on what percentage of the fans are still tuning into games. I bet you it's still a lot because what else is there to do? Network television is so horrible right now. So and Lourdes Gurriel just hit a 2-run bomb for the Diamondbacks. It is 5-0. Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. Corbin Carroll had gotten on with the leadoff as leadoff base runner. So 3 innings in, Diamondbacks have scored in every single inning so far. I'm really that Diamondbacks lineup is really good. They've got contributors up and down the lineup. They don't have all the star power necessarily that, like, say, the Mets, the Yankees, or the Dodgers have, but there are not easy outs anywhere in that lineup. And I know because we played them, and they were able to hang with us. I would not want to face the Diamondbacks in the playoffs. Not as the Mets. They match up really well against us. You guys got that is very true. The Dodgers are starting a stretch today of 29 straight games against teams over 500. So from now until June 19th, now obviously records can change, but as of this moment, over the next 30 days, every single team the Dodgers play, as of today, has a record over 500 right now. It is it's going to be an opportunity for the Dodgers to either prove that they are an elite team or just prove that they're just one of many very good teams. Yeah, when you look at the lineup, it's a 2-1 Athletics over the Angels. The Angels have runners on second and third. A lot of stuff going on here tonight. But This is the Diamondbacks lineup. Now I don't know if this is their everyday lineup, but Ketel Marte leading off, he's hitting 278. Corbin Carroll batting second, he's hitting 278. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who's like a home run machine, he just hit his eighth of the season just now. He's hitting 231, but with 8 home runs. Eugenio Suarez, he's I don't know how many home runs he has, but he's kind of got the lower batting average. But right behind him, you got Josh Naylor with a 301 batting average. Gabriel Moreno hitting 263. Tawa, who I think is like this rookie center fielder, they're kind of trying to break in. He's 238. Got Pavin Smith, their 8-hole hitters hitting 297. And Geraldo Perdomo, their number 9 hitter, is hitting 300. It's just depth up and down the lineup. And it's just a lot of these gritty guys. It's just like a group of, I would call them like, it's like a bunch of guys that look like they belong on the Phillies, but they all just ended up together on the Diamondbacks. So I know Jonathan, he went to bed, but Jonathan's been saying for months he doesn't expect the Dodgers to actually make the playoffs. And I'm not saying I buy it, but there is a world. It's maybe a 1 in 100 chance in my mind. If you play the season 100 times, at least one time the Dodgers don't make the playoffs. There is a world where that could happen. So, by the way, Diamondbacks have another runner on here with 1 out now. Phillies just took the lead on a 2-run homer by Alec Bohm. So sorry, Midnight. That's just Alec Bohm's 3rd home run of the year. I really like Bohm as a player. I hope he does well long term, just not in a way that impacts the Mets. Wow, how is Bohm? His batting average isn't horrible. He's hitting 262 on the year. I feel like that's higher. His power numbers are just down, maybe. What did he hit? Oh no, that batting average is down a little bit. He's like a career right around a 280 hitter, Casey. So you add Bohm into this lineup. If he gets hot, the Phillies lineup is deep too. Go Halos! You better believe it. Hey, they just swept the Dodgers, Casey. Yeah. Did Taylor Ward just hit a 2-run bomb? Yeah, he's been breaking out again. So a cool story. I've actually I've texted a little bit with Taylor Ward's dad. He actually um, I can't give all the details but he reached out to me and it was cool. So someday I can tell more of the story. But I am I'm a full on Taylor Ward fan right now. So Diamondbacks up 5-0. Now they're up 7-0. My goodness. That was Moreno. Moreno with a 2-run bomb. It is 7-0 Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. So you know what's going to be true potentially if everything holds? The Phillies are going to have the best record in the National League at the end of tonight if this holds. Yeah. I know. Well, hey, the Mets Dolphins combo has not been much better than than this Rockies Panthers combo you've been on. You know, that's I'm really bad at picking teams. Yeah, I can't. I don't want to give too many details because there's some stuff, but there's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff. Andrew, we got to keep our language family friendly, but yes, the Tigers are getting thoroughly dismantled tonight. Yeah, you're good, Andrew. You're good. So now we'll just see, just out of curiosity, what sort of the Tigers are trying to put a rally together here in the ninth inning. Um, the Tigers have had the best start to the season this year. There's another infield hit for the Phillies here. They got two runners on against the. Yeah, I know, Casey. I'm watching. I am watching, and it's actually also true. It's early still, but it's also true in the Dodgers game. But I can't say it. I can't. I'm not going to be the one that jinxes it. So if it gets any later in the game, we might have to put it in the might have to put it in the description or in the title. All right, so there's two outs now for the Tigers. It's 11-3. That is correct, Andrew. Yeah, the Mets, but it's not just the Mets, right? So the Mets had, yep, yeah, there's two of them going on. But I got to be careful. Oh, so they officially put the alert on. So I'm going to add it to the title, but I'm not going to say it out loud. All right, the Cardinals officially win that game against. All right, I forgot. It doesn't let me. All right, so I added something to the title that. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. So the Dodgers officially lost. By the way, the Rockies are falling apart again. I believe it's 6-3. It was just 3-2 Rockies. It's now 6-3 Phillies. I don't know if that stream is having trouble or if it's all of them. So yeah, it's just absolutely falling apart. All right. So I edited the title. If you guys want to refresh, if you are if you're watching, if this is big enough for you guys to see right here, I'm not going to say it out loud because superstitions and all. Not trying to be, but that's what we're keeping an eye on right now. Royals are currently at the plate, so of course it's still a nothing game on top of all of that too. Oh, Giants just dropped it. Yeah, so Angels are now 4-2. You got it this time, midnight. You got it this time. All right. It's also true in the Dodgers game too, but it's super early. Oh man, he just dropped it. Hold on, let me show you guys this. He absolutely just in the Giants game, absolutely just botched it. I mean, in his glove and everything. Let's go here. I'll make it as big as I can make it for you. All right. I know it's a little jumpy. Sorry. Here's another play. Literally in the glove and just out.
It's always going to come back towards the field down the right side.
I'm trying to share just enough so I won't get yelled at by MLB. Just showing highlights, adding my own commentary. I think that's what it qualifies. A short little stints. All right, scoreboard back up. There we go. Yeah, so the Rockies have completely fallen apart again. That Cardinals game is in the books now. 11-4 is the final. The Twins Guardians game has been suspended. Will resume tomorrow, so there's not going to be any more updates there. So you're down to 4 games. 4 games that are live. You've got Phillies over the Rockies 6-3. That's going to the bottom of the 8th now. Rockies finally got out of that inning after give up 4 runs in the 8th. Royals and Giants, which is the main game we're watching right now. That's 0-0. So Royals are pitching well, but they're not hitting well tonight. Angels, Athletics. Angels are up 4-2, in part on a home run there by Taylor Ward, 2-run shot. And Diamondbacks and Dodgers finally going to the bottom of the 3rd inning there. 7-0 Diamondbacks. So, yeah, so if there's anything good about the Mets struggling right now, I'm just talking about the Mets just not being able to buy a run. It's not just the Mets struggling right now. The only team that's kind of emerging out of the National League right now is the Phillies, which is kind of a bummer because we don't like the Phillies. But the Dodgers are struggling. The Dodgers just got swept. The Padres just got swept. And the Mets went into Yankee Stadium and they won a game. Didn't get swept. And, again, the Dodgers sweep was to the last place Angels. The Padres sweep was to the Mariners, which they're leading the American League West, but they're not a dominant team. So all right, here's the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. And it's going to be a strikeout to retire the side. Going to go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning. I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to be right back with you. I'm going to get some water real quick. And who do you guys want to say hi to? You guys want to say Rally Pig had the night off tonight? So there's Rally Bear and Rally Pig. So I'll be right back here in just a minute. See if I can get them to prop up without me holding them. There, you guys can say hi to the Rally Bear, Rally Pig. I'll be right back. Just a couple quick minutes here. We are back at it again. All eyes are on Royals Giants game. Yeah, what's going on with the Mets? So we're talking about some tonight, Wesley, but yeah, the Phillies are going to be moving into first place. Not just first place in the National East, they're going to be first place in the National League. Assuming the Dodgers do not make a crazy comeback here. Because Dodgers are already down 7-0 in the third. So I think the Mets are playing tight right now. That's just my take on it. My take on it is just the Mets are playing tight. They haven't found their new personality. Yeah, so I usually do the context. I was like, I'm not feeling it tonight. And normally I have my screen up brighter. So if I have my screen up really bright, like really watches everything out. Like, you guys can probably watch the game reverse. You can probably watch the game reverse like that. So, but I'm doing well. How are you doing, Wesley? All right. There's one out here in the bottom of the sixth. There's a little ground ball fielded by the pitcher. Tough play. He's going to get the out at first. There's two outs in the bottom. For those of you who don't know exactly what's going on, I'll just point to something right on the screen here that we are watching. It's also in the title. So that's what we're watching. So we're going to pay attention to the bottom halves of the innings in San Francisco. One of the best hitters in baseball right now is the person called Wilmer Flores. First pitch to Flores is a strike. No balls, one strike. No balls and two strikes. Just moving. Is pitching for the Royals. It was an 0-2 pitch. Round into second. That's going to be an error. The second baseman fell down. They better call that an error. That's got to be an error. He fell down. Are they going to call? They can't call it. Oh, they called that a hit? Are you kidding me? You can't call that a hit when there's a. No, that's an error every step of the way. I don't know. I'm going to show this to you guys here. Did they rule an error? Hold on. They did. They ruled it in there. Okay. I want to show you guys this play really quick so you can see this. This just happened. Have you seen the Rocky statue? Da-da-da, da-da-da. All right. This is the play that just happened. And you guys tell me. You tell me. I'll make it as big as I can for you. I'm watching a bunch of games at once here. Sorry, it might be a little choppy.
Out on him, he had a little slip going.
But you guys tell me what you
So he had
think.
to go a long way for it. And as he tried to
That's a little hard to tell from that angle. Here's this angle.
Spike gave out.
What do you call that?
I think
Another
that's
angle of it? I mean, I know his spike gave out, but he was there.
E4.
They did call it an error. So, what do you guys think? I think you call that an error. If anything, it's an error for overrunning it. Kind of overplaying the spike and catch. So I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you think? Oh, Adrian! I'll throw the scoreboard back up for you guys. And the Royals are going to get out of the inning. So, barring a scorer's change, that will remain. So, the games that are currently going on that are active. We've got the Phillies over the Rockies. That's going to the top of the ninth. The Royals and Giants are nothing. Angels over the Athletics. 2. And that game tonight. There's only 4 games left, so I can watch 4 games at once. Because it is an absolute pitcher's duel going on in San Francisco. Through 6 innings, neither team has a run. That's awesome. It's been a long time. I don't know if I've ever watched I'm pretty sure I've never watched the full Rocky trilogy all at once. I'm pretty sure about that. It's been a long time since I've sat and watched a Rocky movie. I got a lot of things. I got a lot of tabs open really close to the tabs. You better believe it. All right. So there's your scoreboard. I have it on the screen. Every time I switch, it takes me off the line. That's not bad. That's not bad. A little bit bigger. Not too big to scare you off. And I think it makes the scoreboard a little bit bigger too, like that. Yep. So. Oh, they changed it. No way, they changed it, guys. Oh, you can't do that. They changed it to a hit. Unreal. They changed it so after the fact, they changed that call to a. I can't believe they changed it to a hit. I don't know. Well, one is saying hit. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, let's change that to a hit. What do you guys think? We showed that play already. I'm not going to bring it up again. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, it's like I'm home tonight trying to watch the game. I can't. So that play, they're going to say that that play was a hit and it broke up the no hitter. Unreal. I'm so not a fan of that. Yep, send Gary Cohen. Which is ironic because right now I'm a food delivery driver who picks up from exchange of fortunes. Well, I don't know. That's crazy to me. But that play where the runner was there and it's maybe slightly overran and this cleat didn't catch, but the ball was fieldable. It was, I don't want to say a routine ground ball, but it was definitely a ground ball he should have got. And they ruled it an error and then they changed it to a hit after the fact. But we gotta fight the manager arguing in that Royals game. Watching it just all my streams have got really choppy for a little bit. So here's the deal. So Chris Bubik of the Royals was pitching a no hitter. The Giants hitter, in this case it was Wilmer Flores, hit a grounder to second base. The second baseman just kind of overran it. His cleat didn't catch, bounced off the second baseman into the outfield. Flores would have been out easily if he had fielded it cleanly. They called it an error at first, and then after the fact, they changed it to a hit. Oh, thank you. I see. With whatever audience wants to hang out with me, I'm good with that. Thanks. I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who likes, subscribes, comments. Yeah, perfect transition too. For the people who support the channel through the Patreon as well. There's the link on the screen for you. I'll post it fresh in the chat as well. If you guys want to financially support this channel, help me move from doing other things to be able to do more and eventually better videos with better technology for everything. By the way, it's 9-3 Phillies over the Rockies now. That game was 3-2 not that long ago. Remember, you can check over on the Patreon. The biggest thing that we're offering over there, that's a thank you, is you get early access to videos. So everybody on the Patreon got to see the power rankings a day early. And so, anyway, all right, so if you're in a position you want to help support this channel financially, help us get going and off the ground, it's a perfect way to do it. You can see me on SMY someday. Let's see. Thank you so much. Okay. We push, we grind, that's for sure. All right, so unless there's another scorer's change, they stole the no-hit away from Chris Bubik. They ruled it an error, and then they went back and they changed it to a hit. So it was still nothing. However, don't give up. There's another interesting game developing in Los Angeles right now. where the Diamondbacks led the Dodgers 7-0. So if you're looking for a little bit of baseball history, don't go to bed quite yet. I'm still holding out hope that they will go back and fix that back swing. We watched the play on here, and every part of me says that that's an error. For a major leaguer, it's an error. For a major leaguer, oh, and never mind on that. Mookie Betts just hit a home run for the Dodgers. It's 7-1. And there goes that no-hit bid. So we had two no-hit bids going on, and we lost them both. One on a no-doubter, Mookie Betts home run. The other on, I don't know, an official scorer deciding that they didn't want a no-hitter to be against the Giants. Will do. Will do, Wesley. So the 7-1 Dodgers. I gotta update the title. Official score sales Royals. No, you can't do that. The first hit of the game has to be an obvious clean hit, not a hit with a second baseman close out. All right. So if you guys saw the play, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the should have been? We can try to. I'll try to pull it up here again a little bit. Here, let me do that now. It's still the most interesting game going on. It's nothing. Sorry to hear that, Wesley. I don't have to worry about earning wings though. Faith in Jesus. He's the key to salvation. No need to earn it. Just take the free gift of salvation. There's a 1-out walk to the Giants here. I'm going to try to find that play. I got to go back. We already showed it once. We're going to show it again. I appreciate it, Wesley. I encourage you to keep fighting for the end as well. I'm just going to tell you, in your hope and your faith for the forgiveness of your sins, that putting your trust in Jesus Christ, that really is. That's it. You don't need to worry about earning the wins. I appreciate all the encouraging words. You really don't need to earn them. You just trust in Jesus. That's the way to be. All right, we're going to try to find this play. It's really hard. I wish there was like an easy way for timestamps of good plays. Everywhere I click on this, it says it wasn't. But you can save your spiritual self. Let's see. Yeah, let me do this really quick. I got something for you to watch. Hold tight 1 second. Let's see. All right, let's see. This is from my other channel, so I'm just going to share this with you and see. There's a video for you to watch. See, that's from my other channel. So I'll promise you that if you promise me you'll go watch and listen to the video I just posted for you. All right? Right. We're going to show this play again. This was the play where I think the official scorer got it wrong. So I throw it up on the screen. You guys can watch it as it happened in real time. It's happened like a few minutes ago. Chris Bubik of the Royals was pitching a no-hitter. And then let me make this as big as I can for you. You guys just tell me.
Command.
So Wilmer Flores
Your
is
speeds.
it's going to be a little choppy.
75. He's
Let's do a replay of what
stingy
happened
with his pitches tonight.
Bounced the other way. Nancy cannot come up with it.
It'll be interesting to see how they rule
They're going to
this
show
play.
some
There
replays
hasn't been any
here.
hits yet. Looked like his feet gave out on him. He had a little slip going. They had to plant up the middle.
Hey,
He had
Westy,
to go a
I
long
wish
way
I'll
for
be
it.
praying for you,
As he
all right?
tried to plant his right foot, his spike gave out.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that's a base hit.
He was there. He overran the ball.
E4.
They ruled it an error at first, and then they took it away. And then when they made it, they turned it into a hit eventually. So you can see on top of the screen. Initially, they ruled an error, but then they changed it to a hit. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys tell me. I think that's an error, especially with the no-hitter going on. I don't understand why. Because you want the first hit of the game to be like a true hit. So, I don't know. That's kind of. Yeah, Flores is on fire right now. It's kind of like Justin Turner, kind of like the late bloomer. I feel like you'd say the same thing. Mets fans be saying the same thing about Brett Baty if we trade him away. Just like people aren't strong. Like Mets fans are not known for patience. That's for sure. All right, so you got the active scores are on the screen in front of you. Just catching everybody up here. Let me do a full scoreboard update. But Royals Giants are nothing. Since then, the Giants have got another hit, so I guess that kind of nullifies the argument. Got it. Angels are up 4-2 on the Athletics. Diamondbacks up 7-1 on the Dodgers. That Guardians and Twins game that is suspended. That will pick up tomorrow. It's going to be Detroit and the Dodgers. Jonathan India is up for the Royals, trying to get something going. It's a game of no score. All right. Well, we'll take the Royals stuff out of the title now, I guess, because now the Giants have gotten two hits. A little less of an hit. If you guys have any other sports or baseball questions of any sort, please let me know. This Detroit team looks good. Detroit is definitely having a surge the sports net recently with the Lions and the Tigers being highly competitive teams. It's good. It's a good time to be a Detroit sports fan, that's for sure. You guys are in here too, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're on the way to 500 subscribers. Covering all things baseball and football for New York Mets, Miami Dolphins fan perspective. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you for the encouragement. Appreciate it so much. 7-1 Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. 4-2. Angels over the Athletics. And Royals and Giants are 0-0. That Rockies game is officially in the books. The Phillies win 9-3. And for the moment, for the exact moment, the Phillies have the best record in the National League, I believe, by percentage points. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure the Phillies have the best record in the National League. Well, they're technically, so they're tied for the best record in the National League, tied with the Dodgers. So unless the Dodgers can find a comeback here, absolutely. It's, you can just tell it's kind of that swarm, a bunch of teams. There's a, yeah. Jonathan India with a 1-out double for the Royals here. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not giving up on the season. I have been telling everybody, remember, the Padres just got swept by the Mariners. The Dodgers just got swept by the Angels. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. One of all of those teams, the least embarrassing one to lose to is the Yankees. And we only lost 2 out of 3, whereas the Dodgers and the Padres each got swept. The Mets have 7 games against the Dodgers over the next 2.5 weeks. So we're going to find out a lot about the Mets in those games. This is a high drive to left field that's going to be caught. They brought in Kevin Biggio to run for Jonathan India. Yes. I agree. Well, I said it earlier. The games are not fun to watch because the teams aren't having fun playing the game right now. So I hate to say it, but the next couple of days can be kind of brutal. The Mets need to get early. I'm trying to find their mojo. Fortunately, it's going to have to be against the Dodgers. So it could be kind of rocky for the Mets for the next week or so. But for those of you who weren't here earlier, I'll just show you. These are a couple of other things. Kind of like, what's wrong with the Mets? This is hammered out to right field. Now that's a 2-run home run to give the Royals the lead over the Giants. The pass watch. Vinny Pasquantino. That's his 8th home run of the year. All right. So these are some of the adjustments I have for the Mets. First of all, Santos needs to become our DH. He's one of the worst defensive third baseman in baseball. He has a negative .6 defensive WAR. In other words, you can essentially credit one of our Mets' losses to his defense already this season, and with more of it to possibly come. And then I said you also have to remember the fact that this was our original starting rotation. some potential form like this. Single Holmes, Mania, Contest, Blackburn. We're rolling instead with our 6, 7, and 8 starters. Canning, Peterson, and Poe. We're among the top teams in baseball record-wise. So, and I said this before too. How do I know the Mets are not having fun? It's very simple. I'm not having fun watching them play. They don't look. Can you guys hear me? All right. So let me just give you. Let me know if you guys are having trouble hearing me. I'm doing the audio through the headphones, which I tried out the other day, and it was good. But if you're having issues, then let me know. I can try to make an adjustment. How you doing, Kaylee? For sure, I see for sure. Okay, maybe I just need to adjust the headphones. I might have gotten angled too far back. All right. So let me do this. I'm just trying to find another way for you. We can just try copying the link and pasting it. I'm doing well. We have 4 days of school left. 4 days of school. So everybody's counting down. That's what I would say. If you want it, where is that? Where did the link go? Did it disappear? All right, let me try a different way for you. Because sometimes that shorten link doesn't work. So let me just sometimes the shorter link doesn't work if you're watching it one way or the other. Try this, and then if this doesn't work, you can try copying and pasting, copying and pasting. Let's see. I can't talk anymore. All right, so current scores of games in progress. Angels have the Athletics 4-2. The Athletics have a runner on the bottom of the 5th. Diamondbacks over the Dodgers 7-1, and then Royals Giants 2-0. So is rookie gets 1 run. So that's what we have going. What? Sports questions, things like that. Casey had a no-hitter through 6. Not Bruno Brown. So they started with a no-hitter. So we added the watch, but then we dropped it. And then the Diamondbacks had a no-hitter from like 3. Then Mookie Betts got a home run. So yeah, that's what Kayla was saying. So, yeah, sure. Here's what I can do. I can always change this. So let me just change the audio. We'll just change the audio over to them. A bit better for you guys. All right, so we're down to 3 games that are left. So if you guys got any other sports questions, doesn't have to be just baseball. It can be anything else. That's fine as well. We've got the scoreboard up there for you. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're on the journey to 500 subscribers. So the next checkpoint at 300, or even a smaller checkpoint, 275 or 261. So awesome. So I don't know what's happening. It could be that the headphones have just lost charge at the end of the night. 2-0 Royals over the Giants. Giants are going to get a 1-out base hit here in the bottom of the 8th. The Athletics just got a run on the Angels. It's 4-3 now. And then, of course, we've still got the Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. Right now, the Dodgers and the Phillies have the same exact record. All right. Thank you, Kaylee. Just went over to the MacBook audio. All right. So we're going to see here, Giants are looking to see if they can tie this up in the bottom of the 8th. Trying to figure out what the Athletics did. Athletics scored a run. They scored a run in the bottom 5th, 4-3. Let's see how they scored that run. That was a Brent Rooker single. All right, let's see what. Oh, Giants have another runner on. They got runners on first and second now. So runners on first and second for the Giants. The Royals just took the lead. Giants are trying to get this game tied back up once again. See what they got. Hope everybody is doing well today. Yeah, if you've got kids, how many days, weeks of school do you have left? This is our last week. So my oldest starts finals tomorrow. It's her first experience with finals. So we'll see if we see how well we make it through everything here over the next little bit. But I think everybody's ready for a break from school. All right, I think we have a pitching change. Yeah, we have a pitching change in progress in that Royals Giants game. So it is 2-0 Royals over the Giants. The Giants have 2 runners on with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, trying to get that all tied up. My video's like choppy. I don't know if I think my computer's just having issues right now. I'm trying to close some extra tabs because there's just it keeps like restarting the game like at the very beginning. Go all the way through. So Wilmer Flores is at the plate for the Giants here. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball over the last few weeks. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Wilmer Flores. There's 2 runners on for the Giants. They're down 2-0. Bottom of the 8th. Took the Giants 6 innings to get a hit. They now have 4 in the game. The Mets go to bed tonight looking up at the Phillies in the standings. That's low. Ball 3 to Flores. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Wilmer Flores. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. The Giants are down by 2. You've got 2 teams that have been Flores fouls away. Not at the top of their divisions, but winning consistently. Facing each other in this matchup. Tigers have pretty much been leading the AL Central since the start. Dodgers, of course, pretty much leading the AL West since about the second week of the season. Ooh, Flores just swung at ball 4. That's going to be 2 outs. Oh, yeah, that pitch looked really good. That was a nasty pitch. Jung-Hoo Lee is up now for the Giants. Diamondbacks up 7-1 on the Dodgers. Angels up 4-3 on the Athletics. In this game, Royals up 2-0 on the Giants. That's your West Coast games. That's what we're following along. Hanging out with you, just talking all things sports and baseball here. But this is the closest game that's late in the game, so that's why we're kind of following this Royals one. Royals were pitching a no-hitter through 6. I think maybe through 5 2/3. Somewhere in that. I think in the 6th inning, Wilmer Flores ended up getting the first hit of the game for the Giants. That is hammered down the right field line. 1 run's going to score. Giants are going to have runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. They held him at 3rd, and I think he would have scored because the throw was way offline. So Jung-Hoo Lee comes through. You know what, midnight? Now is the perfect time for me to actually look it up and get it saved so that way I don't forget again. I'm going to look it up right now. All right, I found it midnight. Once I'm done streaming it, I'll watch it before bed. Okay, well, I'll check that one up then too. All right, I got them both. We're both queued up for after the stream. All right, it's a 2-0 count. Matt Chapman is up for the Giants. Runners on second and third. There's a strike down the middle. 2 balls, 1 strike. John Schreiber is pitching for the Royals. Sounds good. Well, I can just cry myself right to sleep midnight. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Chapman with 2 runners on, 2 outs. Pops it up. Is it going to get out of play? Nope. That ends the inning. They should have sent him. The throw came in way offline. They would have scored on Jung Hoo Lee's hit. They should have sent the guy from third. Instead, he got stranded there. It's going to be 2-1 Royals over the Giants. We'll go pop into Angels Athletics here really quick for a couple minutes. I'm definitely getting tired here. I don't know if we'll make it to the end of the game. If it was a no-hitter, we'd make it to the end of the game. But we'll make it to the end of the Royals-Giants game just to see how that does. So we'll do one more inning. We might call it a night from there. There's a challenge, I guess, going on, or a review going on. So they were challenging a catcher's interference, and the A's do get on board with the catcher interference. A's are down by 1, bottom of the 6th with a runner on and 1 out. I still believe the Mets will be the 2 seed in the playoffs. I still think it's going to be Dodgers-Mets 1-2. I am highly confident that David Stearns is not done wheeling and dealing. I mean, we just added a new pitcher last week alone in the trade. And once the trade deadline gets here, I really want a center fielder. It's what I want for the trade deadline. I don't think it's going to be easy. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a walk in the park for any of these teams. There's too many good teams in the National League. But eventually a couple of them are going to step out. I just don't think anyone's going to pull away before the All-Star break. The Dodgers have 30 days of playing teams over 500. So I don't expect them to pull away. 7 of those games are Mets-Dodgers, so they'll beat each other up in that. And then I think the Mets do play the Phillies again soon, too. And, of course, you got the Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants, and Cubs are all in the mix for top team in the National League. American League, I know they got walloped tonight, but the Tigers have a chance of pulling away. I think the Yankees, because the AL East looks to be relatively weak, the Red Sox beating the Mets tonight, notwithstanding, but overall, with the AL East so deep, I could see the Yankees being one of the earlier clinching teams. Also, could see the Cubs. I do think I think you're going to hear more from the Rangers and the Astros in the West. Mariners lead the West right now. It would be such a story. Now, there is one team I think that could make the epic turnaround this year. It's the Baltimore Orioles. They have the talent to do it. They lost again tonight, but they're only about 5 games behind where the Mets were last year. Now, I don't think they could go all the way to the World Series at this point, but I do think the Orioles have the ability to at least make an aggressive postseason run towards the postseason, at least, put it that way. I don't know if they'll have enough time to make it in because it's such a big deficit to make up, but the big swing and a miss. So there's 2 runners on for the Athletics here on the bottom of the 6th. We will tune in to the bottom of the 9th inning in San Francisco when the Giants come to the plate. That's still a 2-1 game. Royals have a runner on second. Could you imagine if we end up with like a Rockies White Sox or Rockies Orioles World Series this year? 0-2 pitch, fouled away. So Athletics have a chance to take the lead back here. There's only 1 out. Runners on first and second. Gio Urshela's up for the Athletics right now. Athletics have started to fade over the last couple of weeks, but they have played much better than I think most people were expecting. As a foul out for the Athletics, it's going to be runners on first and second still. 2 outs now. It would be great for the channel. Do that, and then if somehow the Dolphins could get off to like a nice winning streak. Do you imagine if that Dolphins-Panthers game was a battle of undefeateds? It'd be like the game of the week. Royals have 2 runners on top of the 9th, but 2 outs. It's 1 ball and 1 strike in this Athletics Angels game here. Like I said, I don't think we're going to make it to the end of the night, but we'll make it to the end of the Royals Giants game for you. I'm fading fast. I got to be up in 6 hours, so. And I got 2 documentaries that I have to watch before bed. Pitch is just a bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike. All right. 4-3, Angels over the Athletics. Athletics have 2 runners on. It's outside. Butler takes it. You're good, Wessie. You're good. Were you able to get the link? I posted a new version of the link a while back. All right. There's a strike. It's going to be 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's going to be the 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. And he taps out to the catcher, throws it to first, and that's going to do it for the Athletics in the 6th. The Royals were able to add a run here in the 9th. They are up 3-1 now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow to the end of that. Well, I mean, so until they're eliminated, I'll stick with what my original pick for the World Series was before the season, even though it doesn't look great right now. It was Orioles over the Mets. I had the Orioles beating the Mets in the World Series this year. All right, so Giants are coming up in the bottom of the 9th here. Dodgers are chipping away at the Diamondbacks, by the way, too. It's 7-3 Diamondbacks now. That was just my preseason projection. That's all. Wesley, here you go. I'll post it one more time. At least screenshot it so you can look it up. Oh, hold on. That's too long. I don't need all of it. There. That was the video about the spiritual freedom video we were talking about before. It's on the other channel. I've got something new coming to the other channel soon. The basics of bartering, trading, negotiating, and making fair deals. So that's going to be coming up on the channel. I just finished the companion product that's going to go with it. So that's coming. All right, here we go. No balls, 2 strikes. Willie Adamus. First out. It's a pop-out foul of Salvador Perez. 3-1 still with 1 out now in the bottom of the 9th. All right. The Side of Hustle channel, Midnight. Yes, the other channel. I have one. I've got something new coming up on there soon, too. It's crazy. Like, I've actually been getting a fair amount of views on that other channel, even though I haven't put a ton of new stuff up recently. There's a 1-out hit for the Giants. Yeah, it's like at least I have some good searchable videos. So that's kind of my plan for that channel for now, is build out some more searchable videos. This is another pop fly foul that's going to be caught at first. Go ahead, Wessie. There's 2 outs here, the bottom of the 9th. Is it midnight here? Yeah, it's midnight here. Lamont Wade takes second. Am I midnight? Yeah, I was just gonna do I can put the link up too. Yeah. It's a side of hustle is just a really hard channel to find because there's so many side hustle videos out there. There's the steps to spiritual freedom from the video, Wessie. If you can't do it. I was also gonna say you can just email me. You can't do it. I could right. I guess I could just also. This is my other channel. This is for like life freedom channel. Spiritual, mental, physical. And that's a strikeout to end the game. The Royals are going to win the game. Yeah, I might do a rebranding at some point midnight. It's like, yeah, I can't even find it even when I'm on it. It's so. We might do ourselves a rebrand at some point in time. All right. Well, we'll 7-3 Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. 4-3 Angels over the Athletics. Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah, no, I'm going to bed. So I'm just going to wrap up a couple things here. For those of you who missed it, we do have a couple new videos out. So I'm just going to repost the links here really quick in case you haven't seen them yet. We have the brand new power rankings are out. And I know for some of you guys, the links might not work, but I promise you the links are good. So this is power rankings. That's the new power rankings that are out. And then this was spring training game vlog. That's that. So if you guys are looking for some things to watch after I go to bed and you're done with baseball for the night, or you're done with live baseball. So there's that. And then, as always, if you wish to help financially support this channel, you can join the Patreon for right now, at least until we get other things going on. Here is the Patreon. You can join for as low as like $5 a month if you want to help support this channel, help me upgrade my gear and equipment, and hopefully have less audio issues and things like that. So you can do that, and you can join Bifer and Darren as the first 2 patrons that we have on the channel. You can join them. You get free previews. I'll show this since we're kind of done. Let me just show you really briefly what you get in case you haven't seen it yet. Got to bring up the right page here. Basically, all I'm doing on there is just early access to videos. So we'll eventually expand it more. But like everybody on the Patreon got access to the power rankings early, the spring training vlog, they got access to that early. Basics early access. Yeah, no worries if you can't. Yeah, I mean, I think that there is something weird with that. I think it has a lot to do with how, never any pressure, just letting people know. The more people we get on board with it, then the more I'm able to do with it and everything else. So, but I understand lots of people aren't in the position to do that, and that's perfectly fine as well. Never anything against that. Well, it was a good time hanging out with all of you tonight. Actually, let's just stop the screen. I can go large screen here for the end of the night. We'll probably be doing more of this type of stream over the next couple weeks because Tuesday through Friday nights, my son now has all-star practice, baseball all-star practice over the next, basically Tuesday through Friday night for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to be very limited at how many live streams I can do of actual full Mets games and stuff. But this sort of thing, like after everybody's in bed and just kind of hanging out, talking baseball, that works as well. So if you enjoy this type of kind of more of a casual thing, that's great. Just look for the logo. It's the MLB logo with my head as the baseball being about to be hit. So that'll, anytime you see one of those streams, that's that. Anytime you see that particular thumbnail, that's this type of stream. We'll probably do these mostly on vertical as a chance to try to reach out to new people. So if you haven't yet done so, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you, Wessie. Thank you, Midnight. Kaylee was here, I know. Jonathan was here. I'll try to scroll through, remember everybody. So if I don't catch all of you. KC was here. Rels was here. Yeah, Jonathan was here. Vitalik, Savage Batman, gloating in his victory. Red Sox over the Mets today. So, but Lane was here. So it's all good. So appreciate each and every one of you. No guarantee when exactly we'll be on next, but thank you guys. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great night. And let's go Mets, baby.